Airbnb is hot right now, and it can be a wonderful way to make an extra buck for some people, or even a living, and that's awesome. But be aware of the tax consequences and implications of going down the Airbnb route, and avoid surprises that'll make you feel like Will Smith just slapped you for making a bad joke. But before I get into it, if you find this video helpful, a like and a comment will go a long way to paying it forward. And of course, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Oh, and here's a little hint for enjoying this content while you're drying your hair in the morning. Hit the closed caption button. This is a great way to multitask. Whenever you earn income from renting your home or part of your home, you will need to report the gross rental income and related expenses on your tax return. That's not a big surprise. But I want you to think about the two kinds of rental activities that can happen. There's longer term rentals, like tenants that rent for you for like months at a time. This is called long-term accommodations. Makes sense, right? And then there's short-term accommodations, and that's like your bed and breakfasts, your Airbnb, your hotel rooms. Guests stay for like a night or two. You supply them with furniture, cleaning, etc. So why do we care about the distinction between short-term accommodations and long-term accommodations? Well, first, for income tax purposes, long-term rentals will get reported on your personal return as rental income on a specific schedule. And short-term accommodations are more like a business activity, and they'll get reported on a different schedule. Okay, like whatever, boring. That's my job, right, John? I agree, but what should I be aware of long before the accountant gets your taxes done? Here's some things to think about. The GST, HST implications, the damn GST. So when do you have to charge GST, HST on accommodations? Well, first off, watch this quick video on when you need to register for HST and what goods and services you need to charge on them. And please, watch it because you may be surprised to find out that you are required to register even though your Airbnb gross income will not exceed 30K. So go ahead, watch it. I'll wait for you. Okay, assuming you just watched that video, you now know, first off, whether you're required to register for HST, GST, and you know that there are 3 different ways the tax can either be applied or not applied. Long-term accommodations are considered exempt supply, meaning you do not have to charge HST, GST, even if you are an HST registrant for whatever reason. But you also do not get to claim back any HST, GST paid on expenses as a rebate. Short-term accommodations are considered a taxable supply. So if I'm a registrant, I will have to charge HST, but I'll also get to claim HST paid on the portion of expenses related to the space offered. Now, some planning you can consider if you're outright buying a new property for the sole purpose of Airbnb-ing it. Is that even a word? You may consider registering right away, like prior to the close, which will enable you to basically get out of paying HST, GST. And again, you need an accountant here, as I'm very much oversimplifying here. Now, there's a couple of pretty drastic surprises that you may face going into the Airbnb world, and the choices you make can follow you for decades. And that can make you crap your pants a little if you aren't aware. First off, if you rent your home for 90% or more of the time for rental periods less than 60 days, you may cause it to lose its status as a residential complex. In other words, you'll turn into a commercial property that you'll need to charge GST, HST on down the road when you eventually sell, and that's not cool. There's also rules called change in use rules, which basically means that if you substantially change the use of a property, you're deemed or pretend to basically sell it for fair market value. And if that happens, you'll need to assess the taxable supply of the property you were deemed to have sold. And if it's taxable, you need to send off the HST, GST and the fair value of that property at the time. And that's likely money you don't have hidden in your shoe, so be very careful here. Decisions can have a very long-term consequence if you change your mind. It's like a tattoo. Getting "I love Celine Dion" tattooed on your butt after a drunken stupor seemed like a great idea at the time, right? There's a whole bunch of things to consider, even beyond what I've just talked to you about here. These are just some of the biggies. But the overall message or parting thought is, you may not know what you don't know, and hopefully this has been an example. And for God's sake, I know your fishing buddy seems to know a little bit about everything and it's all working out for him, but please consult your CPA long before you make any decisions. It'll save you bundles in the long term. That's it for me. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.